All right, and we're back for part two of our discussion, and I am here with Denisse Zamora, and like she was mentioning in part one, she's my assistant, and she helps me with Holomua Healing Arts. She helps me with my other um, passion project, Perpetuate Hawaiian Culture, and she also very much helps with Reef, my son, my 4-year-old son, Reef. And we're just going to dive right back in. We just needed to take a little water potty break. And so this is part two of our discussion. And she had some questions come in to her Instagram by her followers, and we wanted to get to those today. So the question that came in was, how have you managed being open about spirituality in a Hispanic household / Catholic household?
So thankfully, I'm really grateful that my parents have been very open and supportive throughout this whole journey. I remember when I started working for you, and I would come home and I would tell them like, oh, my boss, she does this and that, and she's a Reiki master. And then they're kind of like, okay, like, what is that? Like life coach, Reiki master. So I was like, okay. And then I would talk to them a little bit about it, and like, just about what you would do and stuff like every day. And then I started to get more into it, and then I started to look into it myself, and then I would tell them like the information that I would find, and it was just like I would have conversations with them about it. Mm-hmm. And then when I decided to do the certification, I remember I came home and I was like, okay, well, like, let me show you guys what it is that I'm doing.
Have you experienced it?
Yeah. And let me just show you guys what it is, because it was they had no idea what Reiki was. It was their first exposure to it. Yeah. So my mom had like growing up, she had battled with depression, and she was on medication too, and she realized that nothing really worked. So she was kind of more open to it, like, okay, like if this is some type of treatment, let me see how I feel. So she actually had like some kind of back pain. She always kind of has like muscle pains. She suffers from muscle pains. So she also takes like muscle relaxers and stuff. So I did Reiki on her, and she was like, wow, like, I can't believe how light I feel. I can't believe it. Like, my back pain is gone. Like, I feel even like positive, because she wasn't in pain. Right. She felt good. And then I remember I did it on my dad, and then he was kind of like, what the heck? Like, my feet and my hands were super tingly. Like, what did you do to me? I'm like, no, it's just energy. Like, it's undeniable. Like, you feel it. And I feel like because they weren't opposed to it, and they were more like curious about what it was that I was doing, they kind of went into it with an open mind, and they were able to receive the healing and experience and go through the process. And I also did it on my brother. He's 18, so he was always like, okay, what the heck, what is that? So he was like, all right, do it on me, let's see. So then I started working on him, and then at the end he got up and he was like, did you put the sage like by my head? And I'm like, no, but that's where you're holding like most of your stress. Like, it's super tense.
He felt that.
His crown. And so then after that, they were curious about it too, and like super supportive, and they love it.
That's awesome.
But I also like have some of the girls that have came to see me. They're kind of like, oh, my mom, didn't really want me to come, because she just thought this was like weird or like different. And it's just kind of like, okay, but it's like it's just energy work.
Right. Mm-hmm. And like I was telling you the other day, right? Magic, the word magic, that's a neutral thing, right? But it's how somebody uses it. With what intention are they using the magic for? I'm not saying Reiki is magic, but I'm saying like it's the intention behind it. Mm-hmm. So when you work with a healer, when you work with a Reiki practitioner or Reiki master or energy worker, you want to be able to trust them. I think that's the biggest thing, is finding somebody that you can talk to and that you can trust and that can explain the process to you, that you feel safe with, right? Because intention is everything. Yeah. And so I think when you find the right healer that is coming from this very loving, grounded place, like really good things can happen when you work together, right? And like you said, your parents were a little skeptical, but at least they were open to it. Why? because they trust you,
Mm-hmm.
right? They trust you. They never experienced it before, but they're like, okay, I trust my daughter. If she's saying this has worked for her and she's experienced it, let's try to, just be open to it too, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of times, I'm not, the older generation, our parents, they grew up in a time where if they spoke about this stuff, they would be looked at funny, they would be laughed at, it's witchcraft, it's voodoo, you're doing like bad things,
Yeah.
right? But that's not at all the case when you're doing energy work.
Yeah.
If I did not believe in God or a greater power and great spirit, right? If I didn't believe in something bigger than myself, I wouldn't be able to do this work. Because
Yeah.
like I mentioned earlier, I'm channeling from the light. I'm
Yeah.
not using my own energy. I'm channeling from source. And it's just love. And I'm connecting with that person through love, right? And vibrating on that level of just like unconditional love and wanting the best outcome for that person, right? And
So
when I say best outcome, that could even be it's their time to transition to the,
yeah.
it's their time to transition to what's next for them. So I've actually done Reiki on people who are dying. And that was the last thing I did for them, was being able to help them transition nicely, right? So we can't promise anything as we work on these people, but everything is for the highest good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
And with the best of intentions, like we
Yeah.
literally work off of light and love. That's
Yeah,
like
that's it.
the healing power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no religious background to Reiki. You don't have. I've worked on people from every faith, like every background.
Yeah.
I've worked on them, and so as long as they're willing to receive the love and the light and they want that healing, they can be worked on. Like I said, it's important though to find a practitioner that you trust. I would really recommend people to look people up, read the reviews, do your due diligence and research the person or see what their story is, because you and I both have stories on why we are doing the work we're doing. We didn't just like wake up one day and go, I think I want to just do this healing stuff now. Like it found its way to us. It was in our path, and more people need the healing. Like I said, I left a really good journalism and PR career to do this work because it helped me with my ulcerative colitis. It really helped me, and I knew that it was going to help a lot of other people.
Yeah, definitely.
Like your mom,
Yeah.
because like I was told I had to be on medication for the rest of my life. So I think it would be a shame for anyone listening right now who has a chronic illness or chronic disease. If you do not try Reiki, like you should. It's like a no-brainer for anyone who has anything chronic to try Reiki, because all the Western world has for you right now is just to keep taking medication.
Medicine.
And it's not going to heal anything. It's just going to make you a customer of more medication. I'm not advising anyone to get off their medication. I'm just saying, if you have any type of chronic illness, especially autoimmune stuff, like you should definitely add Reiki to your healing regimen. I think it will not hurt at all.
Why do you feel, like you mentioned earlier, that a lot of like specifically Hispanic women had been reaching out to you? Why do you feel like they kind of resonate or like have that trust that you were saying to come see you?
I think in the Bay Area, there's a lot of people doing Reiki. There's not a lot of people that look like me that do Reiki. Being a young woman of color, I think that's what resonates with them. I think that they feel like they can trust me, that we relate to each other as women of color. And also, I'm of 5 ethnicities. I'm Hawaiian, Chinese, Filipino, Portuguese, and Puerto Rican. And I was raised Catholic. So I think a lot of Mexicans can relate to Filipinos because of being brought up in a Catholic household. And so a lot of them, they tell me, like my parents would don't really get this stuff, but I'm open to this stuff. That's why I'm here. And a lot of them, they really don't want to take the Western medications. And they have some childhood stuff they really want to work through, but they want to work on it with someone they can relate to and trust. They don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
That's someone that looks like them. They want to go into someone that looks like them. Yeah. And so I told you that. I told you there's a lot of people in your community looking for healers and life coaches and things like that. And so this is an exciting time to step into this space and to be of service in any way you can to your community. And I get excited every time an Indigenous person like takes my Reiki class, because I know they're going to go back and like help their family and help their community. And that's really exciting for me, like that they're going to go spread their love and their light and their energy work with their community. I think, like I always say, like, I know people get hesitant, like you were saying, that girl, the mom didn't want her to go and see you, because that's what we got to stop. Like 2020 we need to stop coming from a place of fear, and we need to come from a place of love, because when we're coming from a place of fear, our vibration is lower. And if we're coming from a place of love, it's higher. And I think the right question, the right question that person's mom should have asked her was, do you trust this girl?
Yeah.
And if she said, yeah, mom, I trust her and I'm really interested to see what this is all about, then okay, right? So we have to come from more of a place of love and less of a place of fear, because our ancestors did this energy work long ago. There were medicine women, medicine men. We didn't have pharmaceutical drugs. Like we had herbs, we had our hands, we had our intentions and our thoughts. We had our community to fall back on for healing work, so we, people did body work, like massage and things like that. So we have these tools. We just kind of like forgot in the last 100 years about these things. And I think we have to kind of decolonize our mind as Indigenous and brown people of color, and decolonize our thinking and realize that our ancestors once did this, and this is not new.
Yeah. And we need to stop relying on a quick fix, because it's not a quick fix.
Yeah. And I'm, like I said, I've worked on people with all religious backgrounds, and it doesn't matter to me what your religion is, right? Because the bottom line is, like, my religion is love, truly. It's love.
Yeah.
And the way, I guess, over the years, like I said, I was baptized Catholic, but for me, like, church is like the ocean. Like, that's my church. Like, that's where I feel free. Like, when I'm paddleboarding on the water and it just feels open and free, and I can just actually, when I'm talking about it, I can feel, my whole body can feel it. I feel so connected, and I'm a Pisces, so I like to be by the water, plus I'm from Hawaii. So I want to be by the ocean. Like, that's where I feel very clear and connected to everything, And so that's what I've done in the last few years, is that I feel like I'm more spiritual. And, for me, like, the way I see the difference with religion and spirituality is, like, religion is kind of like somebody telling me what my relationship with God should be like, and being more spiritual, it's my direct connection to God, the way I want that connection and that relationship to be. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. But like I said, anything that is going to help bring more love and light into your life, and if religion does that for people, that's fine. But I do not want people to be part of any type of religion, honestly, that's going to bring more fear and guilt into your life. Because at this point, we need to be vibrating higher. And I don't stand for any institution, including the media, instilling fear into people. Because I'm done with that. Like, we all have to raise our vibration and feel empowered and empower each other and come from a place of love. Like, it's just not a time anymore of vibrating low and staying at this place of fear and guilt and shame and all that stuff. Like we have to stop doing that. And so like I said, like I think that's why I've just been a little bit more spiritual over the last few years. But whatever brings peace and love into someone's life, they should do that.
Yeah, embrace that. Definitely. I agree.
I hope we answered that question. I mean, do you have any more tips on how people can talk to their friends or parents about energy work in a Hispanic household?
I feel like just kind of relaying that message that it's all kind of coming from a place of light and love, and reminding them that the religion or whatever it is that they're like, or why they're holding back on wanting to try it, like, is also supposed to be all light and love. Like it's all coming from a good place. So I think, and also like maybe talk to them like about your experience and like how much it's helped you, and maybe if they see like a change in you, and they'll be more open for it too, or be able to actually see the difference in you, and that it's having like a positive effect. But yeah, I would definitely try to talk to them about it more, and like inform them, because I feel like most of it is kind of like a misconception, or like they have the wrong idea about what it is.
And like we were saying, it would be a fun conversation for your generation to ask your parents and grandparents who in our family were the healers. Like who were the psychics and the mediums and people who did healing with their hands, and who in our lineage did things with herbs and things like that. Have that conversation, like, because I guarantee you your parents and your grandparents know somebody in the family. You know, and have that conversation, because it is in our lineage. It's our ancestors are looking down at us going, Western medication, like, no, we've done, you know, way other healing modalities before that.
And Hispanics and like Mexicans know a lot about her herbs and stuff. So I feel like you should kind of think about that, like, okay, well, like all these things are helping me heal. Like why is Reiki such a out of this world idea? If it's like all energy.
If it's the word that's scaring them, it's just energy healing. That's all I want people to know. It's just energy healing, you know, in its simplest form. Just channeling light and love for the betterment of the person in front of you. Like that's it, you know. What's the next question that came in from your IG followers?
So the next question was, how can we find peace in stressful situations? Or do you have any tips for dealing with stress and anxiety?
Well, like I always say, well, of course, mindset, right? It's all our perspective. And we can make anything stressful. It's just depending how we think about the situation, right? So stepping back and kind of reframing the situation. Like I've been busy the last couple weeks. I've been very busy, and that's been, and that's been stressful. There's like, I have a long checklist to do, and I can barely get through 2 or 3 of them in a day with a newborn. But it's also an exciting time. So I can look at that, instead of saying it's been stressful, I can say, I feel so blessed that I have this beautiful baby girl that I've been praying for that finally entered the world. I have a lot of opportunity. And it's all going to happen. It's just a matter of timing and when. But it's an exciting time. So instead of saying it's a stressful time, it's really how we want to look at the situation. And I get it. There are some people who are legitimately worried about money and finances, and maybe their health or a loved one's, you know, health situation. And that is stressful. And so what I would tell them is to just focus on what you have control over, and then release the rest. You know, we don't have control over all these outcomes. We only have control over what we do and how we look at the situation.
And I think that you've kind of taught me that too, like when I was having all this anxiety, like it was just all these thoughts running through my head, like things that weren't even happening yet, but I was like already kind of like it was things that weren't even happening, and I was so worried about these things. And then it was also like I didn't know how to process them, I guess. But like working with you, and that's why I think it's also important to sometimes like you reach out and get help, because even you, with you asking me those simple questions, I was able to kind of organize my thoughts. And it's really hard for me to express myself, so I feel like I had to think, like you were asking very specific things, so I was thinking of like very specific answers, and then kind of processing to myself like, okay, well, like this is out of my control, let me not worry about this is my control, let me take care of this, and then that I'm already solving one thing, and I'm not too much worried about the other stuff that I can't control.
So that is a good pointer, is to go see somebody or call a friend or see your life coach or your therapist that can talk you through what you're stressed about. And sometimes you just have to hear it a different way to realize, oh, okay, it's not that bad, or here, or these are the answers, or the, you know, or like you said, organize this way, or this way, depending on what I decide. You know, I think what's people are not doing is getting out in nature more and using what they have for free. So even before you go, you know, hit us up for Reiki or life coaching, you better be getting outside and getting to a place that you can really, you know, ground into Mother Earth. Like she's there for us right now, and she's totally recharging during COVID, and she's getting a chance to rest and heal herself, and for us to not take advantage of what she's really there to help us with our grounding. You know, it's sad because like people don't go and do the basic cheapest forms of therapy, and then they pay a lot of money to do a lot of other things. But I'm like, just go outside and go journal, or go, you know, if you like photography, go take pictures. If you like listening to music, go for a car ride and listen to some of your favorite, you know, pieces of music. If you like being around animals, go hang out with animals for the day. If it's children, go see your niece or nephew, or, you know, whatever, spend time with your kids. Like, we all know what it is that makes us happy. It's just, I don't know why we don't do more of it. You know, so that would be kind of like my advice, is to go do the things that make you happy. If it's gardening, go garden.
Definitely.
You know, if it's taking a 2-hour nap, do that. Sometimes I just watch like stand-up comedy. They're like the most realist with what's happening in the world right now. They just like speak their truth, and they just, you know,
good laugh.
Good laugh, and they say things that pretty much you can't say anywhere anymore because everyone's so politically correct. So like, I like just watching stand-up comedy. That's kind of just, it's better than the, you know, mainstream news. So
one thing that I picked up this year too was journaling. Like well, you know, I hold all my stress in my throat chakra, so it's like kind of hard for me to express myself, or like sometimes even put into words what it is that I'm feeling, because I'm not used to it. Like I just hold it. I just hope that people read my mind and figure out what it is that's wrong with me. But
not everybody is Reef, but
exactly. Not everybody could read me like that, and I feel like journaling has definitely helped me, because I could just write it down, and then I'm seeing it physically, and then like it's, again, like it gives you time to process and put things into perspective, because a lot of our worries we're worrying about things that aren't happening or really are out of our control. So like what's the need for that?
I think you know, the law of attraction is something we haven't talked about, and that's something that could totally take up another episode of just talking about the law of attraction. But what we focus our thoughts on really dictates where we're vibrating, right? If we're worried, overthinking things, thinking about everyone else's problems, taking that on and not knowing how to let that go, it really keeps us at a low vibration. And when we can be masters of our thoughts, I want to challenge people this year to really do inventory about what are you thinking? What's on repeat in your head?
Yeah.
What's on repeat? And are these things that are on repeat positive thoughts or negative thoughts or neutral thoughts? And then how do you change that to a more positive place? You know, I look at my kids every day and I whisper to them, I love you, you're amazing, you're beautiful. Like and the energy that comes off those words that they can feel coming from my heart is just like very positive and uplifting. And I want them to feel that, right? And so we have to also remember to say those same words to ourselves. And sometimes we say it to everybody else, but the thoughts we think about ourselves are not very nice too. So, you know, I want to challenge people to talk to yourself like you're talking to like a little child. And you would never, to me, if I'm not going to say those mean things to my son or my daughter, then I shouldn't be saying them to myself. Yeah. We really have to be kinder with how we deal with ourselves, our thoughts. Yeah, a lot better. Because I know a lot of people have some negative stuff going through their mind, not very nice. And the sad part is that they didn't put that there. Someone else put that there. Definitely. Someone else put that there when they were younger, or maybe it was a bad relationship they were in, or maybe it was a bad teacher they had, or a mentor, or that just did them wrong. I don't know, anything that someone of authority put there. And then now that's just on repeat as they get older, you know. So that's the kind of stuff I would help them work through to get to a more positive place. But like anything else, this stuff takes practice. You're not just gonna wake up tomorrow morning and be like great at it. Like, you have to work at it. You have to create positive habits, and to like sometimes habits, what is it, like 21 days to make something a habit? Like this is like spiritual, you know, practice to have positive habits and create like a routine. You know, even in the morning, creating a good routine on how you start your morning. I think that's important too for people. So I hope I gave that person some tips to get through a stressful situation. I know COVID, depending on how you looked at this time, could have been a very stressful time, could have been a time of shifting, of opportunity. It just depends how we want to look at this time right now. I guess, what are your biggest takeaways, or what have your biggest takeaways been so far in 2020?
I feel like 2020 was very needed for us and this earth, and it was very needed because I feel like we had this conversation the other day that we were so caught up in like our like superficial stuff, or like wanting to live a particular lifestyle, or wanting to kind of fit in, and it kind of forced us to stop and really take a look at what's really important, like around us, and like our mental health. Like it kind of put a stop to everything, like made us stop going to work, made us stop going to school. Like it's like literally held everyone down. Like we started seeing these positive changes in the pollution in the air like 2 weeks later. Like, you know, the planet really needed it. Mother Nature really needed it. And then it kind of brought up such huge issues to light, and it was impossible to look away, like the Black Lives Matter movement. It was kind of like okay, world, stop. Like look at what these people have been through, years and years and years of suffering. Like this needs to change. We need to do something about this now. And like no distractions. Like there was no way to look the other way because it was coming at us from every single angle.
Yeah. And I just like everything from people having to spend more time with their kids because their kids are not in school and they're not at work. So now you're at home as a family, to, you know, people not wearing as much makeup and just going to the store and just being okay with it. I mean, even celebrities not even wearing, like, not even worrying too much about how they look as much as pre-COVID, to these systems, these institutions crumbling and falling down. I think a lot of people are not having as much faith in the mainstream media. I had to talk about that in my last YouTube video, and also the changes that we need to see in education. Anything from kindergarten all the way up to college, like how our education system has been so far behind. And they need to like a major overhaul.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but I think 2020 is just a very exciting time. Like the shifting is happening, and I don't think we're ever going to go back to like how things were pre-pandemic. I think in a good way.
Yeah.
Not meaning we're all going to wear masks for the rest of our lives. I just think that it's like how we use this year to grow is really going to make a difference. And so if you're finding yourself listening to this right now, we are at July 22nd, 2020. And if you feel like you have so much more potential or more healing that needs to be done, unpacking of trauma, maybe childhood trauma or even trauma in adulthood, you know, and you haven't even started that journey, I think you need to start now.
Yeah.
And I think what people need to realize is they're not just healing for themselves. When they heal themselves, you're also healing your ancestors and you're healing for your children. I am glad that I did a lot of my healing work before I brought kids into this world.
Yeah.
Because I was able to process and work on myself, and that I didn't have to pass that energy down to my kids, right? That I could stop a lot of the trauma and the things that I need to work on, stop it with me. Yeah, I think that's the exciting time we're like living in right now, is that we are doing a lot of the healing work for ourselves and for our ancestors, the things that our ancestors didn't know how to do or didn't know how to heal, and putting like really drawing a line in the sand in this generation and saying, okay, moving forward, we're not bringing all this baggage with us. We're only bringing good stuff with us. Like leave the baggage. We're only bringing good stuff from this point forward and for future generations, because we got work to do. Like on raising the vibration of this entire human collective, we have work to do. We don't got time for all that baggage. Let us heal that and like move forward. And so I think that's where we are right now. And it's like, that's why I say it's such an exciting time for people who are awakening, who are really taking their power back and who are realizing just how powerful they are. Yeah. And Reiki isn't about you or me or proving what kind of healers we are. It's us helping to awaken others to their own power.
Yeah.
You know, we all are very powerful, and I think our minds are incredibly powerful too. We're just along the way, we've just been told or believed that we aren't as powerful as we are. And so I challenge people to get really focused moving forward and manifest things quickly and get really focused on their goals and what they want and what they want to see in this world. I always say, don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you do want.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that would be like my takeaway before we kind of like wrap up here. Like a takeaway that I would want for people is to really like, I think I used the example before in a podcast about the war on terror. We heard about the war on terror for like a decade, if not more. And all that did was bring more war and terror into our human collective. If we started a campaign tomorrow on mainstream media called Peace and Love, and that's all we did was talk about, if every news station talks about peace and love on the mainstream media for the next month, I want to see what people's mental health would be like.
Yeah.
How much that would improve. How much energy would improve just from hearing peace and love on mainstream media on every channel for the next month. That should be like something they try, you know, just to see how it changes the energy of the human collective.
I was having dinner yesterday with my parents and we were watching the news, and then it was just like something like bad news, and then one of the reporters was like, and more bad news, and then they like gave their news, and I'm like, literally like this whole thing, like this whole hour that I've been sitting here eating, like I'm terrified, like everything that I'm hearing. This is crazy.
I always, like, the last couple of years, I joked with Rod that I wanted to start, somebody already owns this website, but like I wanted to start like goodnews.com and just share like good news from all over the world, like a 45-minute segment every day with just like news from all over the world that was like good and positive. Because if we could listen to those things every day, we would realize that the majority of the people in this world are good and they want good things for everyone else and they want to do the right thing. The majority. We just don't hear about each other because we have to hear about all this other bullshit on the news. You know, so my takeaway is to really challenge anyone who's watching this video is to really take inventory of your thoughts, really kind of dissect what is it that I'm thinking about every day, what's going through my mind, and how do I make it more positive. And yeah, just put more positivity out there with your energy and with your thoughts. And it's in a very exciting time to be alive. And if you haven't tried Reiki, what are you waiting for? Denisse is available. I've been kind of backed up because I've been on maternity leave, but if anybody does want to reach out to me, my email is at info@holomuahealingarts.com. My website is holomuahealingarts.com, and you can follow me on Instagram by just looking up Holomua Healing Arts. And please follow, you can follow Denisse as well. You can give them all of your information as well.
Yeah, my Instagram is Buena Vida Vibes, as well as my Twitter. And yeah, my email is denissezamora@buenavidavibes.com.
Awesome. And I'll put that below in the description so people can check that out. And yeah, like I said, thank you for listening, but I really challenge everyone to really take inventory of their thoughts, really start focusing on the positive and what they're putting out there. And don't watch anything negative, guys. Keep your head in a good fun mind, you know, a good fun mindset, because good things are coming. Really, really good things are coming for the people who are doing the right things for the right reasons with the right intentions. Yeah. And so anything else you want to say?
Just to be kind to yourself, and I would say also, like, just take care of yourself too. This world there's always so much going on. It's really important to even watch what you intake, like maybe listen to a good podcast, something motivating, just to keep your energy up, because yeah, I mean, this world can get really draining, but it's really important that we watch ourselves and take care of ourselves, really.
So thank you for listening, everybody. If you have comments, you can comment below, like this video and share it, subscribe. And if there's other things you would like to hear us address or talk about, you can always leave a comment or shoot us an email too. We're very open to all of that. But we're just sending everybody lots of love, and take care of yourselves and your families. All right. Thanks for watching.